Should I give the thumbs up?
Yeah.
How's Carl doing with the Land of Enchantment?
Land Bank?
No, the Land of Enchantment over there.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Somebody, Oh, Sean.
Kaz.
You don't look like DJ.
No, DJ, no, he's better looking than me.
He's right now doing a Rocky Mountain High, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
out west now?
We may see him from time to time, but...
Is he a Coloradian? What are the people from Colorado? What do they call?
Coloradians, I guess.
Coloradians?
Yeah, I've seen some weird names, like, some of them are easy to figure out. There's a couple that really tested you.
We have Floridians, we have Pennsylvanians.
What do you call a Houston guy?
A Houston guy?
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Houstonian.
A Houstonian.
Yeah, but that one, huh? Yeah, you could call him a cowboy, too.
Yeah, cowboy.
Let's see, what would you call somebody from Yakima?
Yakimian.
Well, there you go.
Yakimian.
We've always been Erieites. That sounds...
Yeah.
That's
kind of got a good ring to it.
I like Buffalonian.
Buffalonian, yeah. Erieites. I like that.
Or think of you come from the land, Cleveland.
The land.
Protect the land.
Leave land.
What can we do? We can't do much with Erie,
Did you go to the parade? The 0-16 parade?
They had, I guess I would have probably gone if, with the weather being as it is. And
that was freezing that day.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of it on the news.
Young people need to express themselves, They may never see a championship. Well, I saw one when I was 16 at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's before the NFL, wasn't it? Or was that, or not for the NFL, the Super Bowl era, right? That's what they were good, like, right before Super Bowl actually started.
A note would have been, had they put the game together a year or two earlier.
We have no phone.
Oh, I'll go get it. Had we done
I was like, wait a minute.
Had we done it a year or two earlier, Cleveland and Buffalo would have faced each other.
Mike, we have a problem.
Uh-oh.
We have no phone. No wonder. I was like, no one's calling. That's right. Mike's back there scrambling. Kaz, we might have to give out your cell phone number today.
Oh, I know.
You're stuttering, Kaz. You're stuttering. Uh-oh.
We got stolen.
We did. Well, Joe Schember had his thing down here. The police chief might have grabbed it.
John, hold down the fort.
Yeah, we'll do it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, Kaz and I, if I didn't say nothing, we might have went on the whole hour talking, and we'd have never even noticed it. Here, let me look up Kaz's cell phone number. Let me pass it out over the air. His number is 555-21. You ever watch the movies where they give out cell phone, or it's always 555 something? Uh-oh. I tell you, we cannot keep you down. We cannot keep you down, Kaz. Whoa.
Yeah. What do we do? Just plug it in like
Yeah, we have to have it enabled though.
You know how to do it?
Well, it's going to be hard to do it from down here. Let's see if I can do it.
Oh, it's not working right now, right?
Yeah, it won't work when it does it.
Give Kaz a call at
Well, we
544-TRIBE. No, that's 5. That's 454 Tribe. No, 454 Brown.
We could go 825 go Cavs too.
That's true. Cavs. That's 4 letters. 454 Cavs. Look at that. So starting off the new year with a bang.
Yeah. Who's that?
That's somebody calling your phone telling you, hey.
I gotta find my phone now.
It's in that Browns jacket. That's a nice coat, Kaz. Figures we're on live TV. We can't do nothing right around here, Kaz.
Boy, I tell you. This is technology. Hey, John?
I'll call you on the other line.
Well, we have to,
Put him by the microphone so we can
we
hear
found out we have a little problem with that.
Oh,
him. We have technical malfunctions.
Wow, how about that? New year, new administration, and
I think Joe Sinna might have hid that phone. He was-
yeah. I can understand that totally. I have a couple quick questions here. One is this Port Authority deal. Are we taking the public dock away from the people and going to make that a gated dock down there with that Port Authority?
Well, I'll tell you, I won't be able to tell you, John, until they're going to, next meeting, which is coming up next week, Brenda's going to give us a little thing in our caucus meeting.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to fill you in, okay?
From what I read, they want to put a Ferris wheel in down there. They want to redo the McAllister building. That's a 102-year-old building, and didn't you just pass a historic thing? It doesn't make sense.
Well, all it says is that they can't tear it down for 30 days. That I don't think that's passed yet, though. We set it up for review. Right. So that's not an ordinance yet, John.
Have you guys seen a plan on? I saw that in the paper. Have you guys seen a plan?
I didn't really look at it, but she's going to present it to us. So
I bet you.
I
think if there's a disappointment here, and I'm going to tell Brenda this.
No, I think it's time we take the Port Authority and disband it.
Well, I think I think part of that is that's a complicated authority. I'd have to look into that because I think it involves the state too.
When you're talking about authorities, I mean.
Well, you can disband an authority, but that one there is, it's unique because it involves a state.
Oh, is it?
Because of the waterfront and everything,
Right.
So I'm not sure, John, if it's easy. Like, we could disband a lot of authorities easily.
So it reminds me of somebody going to come in and make a lot of money doing stuff down there because she, on her presentation, wants a property down there. They own the property down there on the west side, down to the yacht club, that road, and all these other things. There's a lot going on that has to be determined yet.
Yeah, they've been talking about McAllister Place for a long time, and
nobody wants to get in there and use their own money.
Well, once the ordinance is passed officially, like right now we just send it upstairs for review and preparing an ordinance. Once that comes down, a building such as McAllister, they'll have to wait 30 days to sell it. If they intend to tear it down, let's say.
Well, hopefully they would keep part of the historic remnants there.
Well, I think they like to, but the question always is, John, like if you go to Navy Pier, you've been there, John, haven't you?
Yes.
You've been to Navy Pier?
Absolutely, yes.
Now that building was a warehouse.
Right.
Okay. Now there's things you can do and sometimes you can't.
Right.
You go to San Francisco and they got the old, what do they call it? The Ghirardelli factory down there. Ghirardelli chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Now they turned it into a hotel and a restaurant and all that. So it's kind of like what we do with Modern Tool. But yeah, I think, as for the Ferris one, John, I don't think they're taking it away entirely from the public. I think it's going to look different. So, but I'm going to ask her this question, and this bothers me. Why would you come to council last when we're the ones that have to vote on any changes down there? We really should have been initially brought in so that when people like you ask me a question, I don't look like a horse's behind,
Well, that's just like that princess down there, the Victorian princess. All that parking taken away from the public. When they have something going down there, they shut it down. And the public, we're taxpayers. We should be able to determine what's down there. And I've never seen the American flag flying down there in their post poles.
Wait, I've seen them. You're saying they don't fly them all the time?
Right, the Port Authority down there.
I'll bring that up with her. I don't know who's on the. I didn't see who Sonia appointed to that.
The American flag isn't flying.
I think DJ.
We're trying to get the phone back in.
Sorry, John. I think.
I do understand. I have another question here.
Yep.
Does the mayor have his own budget?
Well, everybody has their own budget. It's in the general budget. His department has funds allocated to it. Yes.
Do you have to? come to the council for approving?
Well, when we do the initial budget session, we go over every department. We went over his, and it contains payroll, and it contains office supplies, and other things. You know. You want to take that? Tell them the whole.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Please hold for a second.
I'll call back on the other line.
Okay, you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'll tell you, he's gone, but he is not forgotten.
Who's that? DJ.
DJ, yeah.
Who's on here now?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
That's right. I was going to call. Did you ever hear from DJ? Did he make it?
He just texted us. We're trying to.
Yeah, TJ.
We're in a little mess here. Our phone wasn't connected, so we're trying to get everything back together. And I think he's on the other line. I'm going to.
He texted me and said, "Push this button on the phone."
Oh, so DJ's alive in Colorado.
Yeah, he's probably. You can stream this show.
An accident of a guy heading to Colorado here today. He left, and I was wondering if that was him.
Oh, I don't think so, but
No.
I have a feeling the only accident he's going to get is riding those donkeys along the trails up there.
Oh, okay.
If he's panhandling for, going to be doing gold or what?
He's texting me right now. He says,
Tell him to text you his address so I could send him a gift that you're supposed to pick up here.
he's watching the show. He's streaming it. He just sent me a picture of Kaz and I sitting here.
As soon as my wife gets healthy, maybe I'll stop over to your house, but right now.
Well, I want to send this out to him. I want to put it in the mail.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll text it. Do you
Ask him what the Pony Express hours are.
Who, DJ?
Yeah, they still have horses out there delivering the mail or what?
I don't know what he has delivering. Maybe you've got goats delivering it too.
I like to joke when he sent me a picture the other day. The mountains look nice in the background.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad he made it. He got away from this stuff before it got too heavy for him.
Well, he's not going. He's going like I wouldn't say he's going into Miami, Florida either, though.
He's not going to the Sun Belt.
No.
But here's what I just texted him to send us his address and call after the show. Once we go off the air, and we'll give you the address.
Yeah, the address is kind of confusing. It said turn left at the big rock. When you come to the tree with the broken branch, turn right.
That's what he gave you.
Yeah, and then you got to go up the path a piece. What's a piece? That's what a piece is. And then you turn left and you go a little stretch down the other road.
Take a left at the mountain, and then.
And when you come to the fork in the road, he said, "This is very important. Take it."
Is that the direction to your house?
Oh no.
Kaz's easy. Kaz's house is easy to find. How's your roads up there?
Really good now.
Good.
But you guys take it easy. Have a good day. I'm sorry. I'd have you call me, but I'm going to be pretty busy here for a while too. So, and some health issues. So.
Yeah, everybody's got my wife got she's doing a lot better. She caught that bug that's going around.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, I had that one day flu that cut me down pretty bad, but I'm talking with a doctor for my eyes, so.
Yeah, take care of them.
Well, that's the problem. I'm losing them.
I had to take my wife in for an eye appointment the other day, and I wouldn't go through what she does, but I guess I'd have to though. But
All I have of you would be memories. So you take care, buddy.
Okay, see ya.
Thanks for calling. Let's talk about that article in the paper today about the plan for the Dobbins.
I don't get the paper, so
It's
just a disclaimer.
Yeah, you already know half this crap that's in there.
You mean they're talking about the public dock?
Yeah.
What did they say?
Well, do they want to do the mixed use condos?
You see, this one gets me now. Everybody wants to work together.
Yeah.
Why is council the last one hearing about it?
Well, you are the least important on the important list.
No, we're the most important. Nothing gets built down in the waterfront without our approval.
All right. Well, you got to figure that went through Joe Senate, probably Joe Schember, probably.
Well, I hope things change. I really do, because it's BS.
Hey, I'm going to tell you why.
It's BS, and I'll tell you why. Because people can't, I get a phone call, now I look like, don't you know anything? You're a councilman. No, I don't. How about that? I don't know. And that's embarrassing.
Honestly, I think there's going to be unprecedented teamwork between the city and the county, and I think it's going to start happening immediately.
You and I will talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Go ahead, caller.
Okay, I'm
Hey.
The dirty penny.
No, well, I wouldn't say you're a dirty penny. An old wheat penny that's been laying around for a while, but.
I got a few of them.
Yeah. Hold on to them.
I want to go to economic developments now.
Okay.
And we see where.
Well, did I answer your question about the Port Authority? We were playing games a little bit.
The Port Authority? No, go ahead.
But no, basically, John, anything that gets built on there has to go through our approval, okay?
I understand that.
But, I mean, they've been trying to, change that dock a little bit, and I'm not against it, but I think Eddie Kissel's going to have a lot to say about him and his group about, public access.
First of all, you're CEO of the Port Authority. What does she know about ports? She was never involved in any of that. It was just a spin-off job.
Well, I don't think we've ever had, actually, I like the old question, we got secretaries of the Interior and secretaries of the Army, and people who never served in the military.
Right, I understand it. It was a political move.
Yeah, it is, and I'm not, she's very capable, but I think,
the capability comes to somebody else, and she's getting all the pay, the big bucks.
Well, she came from the DID. They do. It's similar, but not.
I wish we'd got a little head start on this.
On the development?
Even Casey Wells, who I sometimes argue with.
Well, they've been trying to.
Has always approached us first and cleared the hurdles before it gets into the newspaper. And, I don't, what, when you see when Nick Scott came here or other people, when you see the actual plans, looking at a paper, you're getting a reprint. And, I'm not a computer guy, the little screen. I like to see the drawings.
Well, the plan down there was developed back in the late 80s, 90s. It was a great plan by Penelec, and because everybody dragged their feet, Penelec pulled out.
Yeah, well, I can remember even not too long ago when Ray was down there, they were talking about, man, they got their pants pulled down in this one. The boat terminal and all that.
Yes.
And, but they've been dicking around with McAllister project. The one plan I remember that was really...
About 12 years?
Well, easily. Yeah, I was, in my first years as controller, they were talking about where Rum Runners is, putting a rather sizable high-rise. And I heard, if I remember right, it was 13 to 15 stories.
Yes.
And then the other half of the dock where McAllister was, it almost sounded, John, like they were going to tear it down or incorporate it, but they were going to build a parking ramp there, a 3-level structure with office
spaces down below, or
commercial below, office second, and residential third, and they were going to cut a canal through there, decorative canal.
Yeah.
And you could the parking ramp wouldn't look like a parking ramp.
True, and the developer pulled out.
Yeah, they did, and a lot of that had to do with funding. It's funny that everybody has ideas, and I laugh. I told it to Times this when they interviewed me. I can have plans. I can be a man of great vision. You know what I envision right now, John? I envision a 50-story building downtown.
True.
Okay, I envision that.
You're never going to see it.
With a rooftop restaurant and a helipad. Guess what? Ask me if I'm going to finance it.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I mean, that's the trouble we get,
Somebody with big ideas, but they're looking for state and federal money.
Well, yeah, it's like when you go to Chicago. Now, you can hate Donald Trump if you want, but, he built a high-rise in the middle of Chicago. You have had other developers go in there. Yeah, they use state and federal money, but at the end of the day, they put some of theirs up, too. And, when you look at Nick Scott, that's going to be his project,
Well, true. Nick Scott is the only one really doing anything, but it's all outside of town.
And Kennedy, he did, we gave him a couple loans, but at the end of the day, their name is still on there to pay it. It's not.
Like Costco, I hear it's going up there by the cider mill, the new one.
Who's that?
Costco.
Or
they're not going to go in Harbor Creek?
One of the two.
They backed out of Harbor Creek?
I think they're going up where they're all more interstate, 79, 90. Up there by Pericos.
I tell you why I think they're making a mistake. East Siders like me.
And me.
Yeah, we get tired of going up there.
True.
And, I think that putting on the East Side would bring some of the West Siders across, because Costco and Sam's Club are a lot different.
Yes, Costco's is 10 times as good as Sam's Club.
And there's no reason why it can't be on the East Side. You put everything on the West Side, and it's like a giant what they used to call in the Army a Charlie Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's up there, the parking, the traffic. You know, what is wrong with putting it on the east side? Now, at one time, they envisioned putting that in behind the bowling alley in the city.
Yes.
But they're dickering with the state on allowing to put a road cut into the interchange there.
Well, people got to realize there's more than just the west side.
And there, you're right, John, and there's where our economic development people, and I hope that the new guy, who I know very well and I like him, I hope he goes out there proactively and goes to a Costco and says, hey, you know what? You want to look at Harbor Creek. How about looking at our property here? And then sitting down with the mayor and council and pestering PennDOT, and because I think Vendetti owns that property up there.
Yes, he does.
And the only thing holding back, at one time I heard the list was Costco, Walmart, Sheetz, et cetera, et cetera. And the only thing holding it back was the fact they needed two entry points on the bayfront.
True.
And the state controls that. So, I'm sure if we got like Pat Harkins to sit down, and that's his district, and, it's time we get cooperation even from Harbor Creek that.
No, just like you passed that zoning for Vendetti down there, now he's got it up for a lease. He was going to build that box store off of Zimmerman.
Yeah, the only thing he ever built was that Niagara car wash.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we had to do it to make it marketable.
Council got shafted again.
Well, how do you know, John?
How do I know? I can look at it down there.
I mean, you look at what he did on the west side. He took out his property there,
and sold it to Caesars.
And he put him across the road, which was his.
Yeah.
And now he ends up with a Sheetz. We were supposed to have a Sheetz on the east side, and I think I told you where it was supposed to go.
Pine Avenue.
Yep. And they were negotiating quietly.
It's unbelievable. Just does the mayor's staff all live in the city?
Probably not, but I haven't looked at it yet.
When can I look at the salaries?
They're available right now in the budget. If what you'd have to do if you go on the website, all right.
I'm listening.
And then you go into like the mayor's budget, and it'll have the positions marked down there. And then there should be corresponding. If you don't, I got one at home you can borrow.
Alrighty,
and then they got a corresponding column that it won't put names on there. Okay, you have to put faces to the names.
Well,
but it'll say like you'll see secretary, executive secretary.
Head is like his exec or whatever the whole shot. I have some smarts. Even though I went to East High School.
No, don't say that, John. I heard people spoke well of you.
Yeah.
They called you the. Not the Euclid or the Aristotle. They called you the Socrates of East.
Socrates?
Yeah. Your mind was like a sponge.
Yeah, I know.
The good and the bad got soaked up in it. That was the problem, they said.
I have a real disappointment because I missed the parade the other day.
Where, in Cleveland?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to bring the Queen here. John and I were talking.
Yeah.
They had the Queen. I'm going to see if we can entice her with we'll have a room at the Sheraton. We'll get the King and Queen to come down here. And
you were talking about Queen Latifah.
No, they actually had a queen and everything. I think in Erie we could, the remaining Browns fans, we could have our own little parade down here,
Well, yeah, I'm still wearing my big old sweatshirt, with the the black and gold.
Yeah.
My other team went bye-bye.
Who's that?
The Giants.
Yeah.
What black and gold do you like?
Pittsburgh.
Which one?
Steelers.
Why, John, I thought you were a Giants fan.
I was.
You quit?
Wait.
No, I won AFC and NFC.
Well, see, I'm a Titans fan.
Well, my AFC team before the merger was the Bills.
Well, way back when I was a kid, it was the Detroit Lions.
So the Bills didn't do too good.
Cassidy and all the good guys.
Here's a trick question. The two teams with the proudest traditions that have not made the Super Bowl.
Cleveland.
And Detroit.
Yep.
Yep.
I remember the old Ice Bowl
in Green Bay.
Baltimore beat the Giants in overtime.
Oh, you mean when Ellen Amici, the Haas?
Yes.
The greatest game ever played.
That's true.
That's when Marchetti broke his ankle.
Yeah. So, we'll let somebody else get in before they say I'm going to be like Doc.
That's okay, but you had the question about economic development. Ask it quick and then you go off the air if you want.
Okay, but we hope they pay their taxes.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Ask me that question about development later on in the show, though.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Thanks, John. We'll talk to you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
I think we are reintroducing the LERTA. Now, did we do away with LERTA before? I know they tiered it.
We cut it back because
They tiered it.
yeah, well, they tiered it, and it's only eligible in what they call the CDBG area, which is like 28th Street North.
Okay, kind of like the
They
old
targeted
weed, like
it.
the weed and seed area.
But there is some talk about, there has been, and I'm sure the new mayor will be privy to this, that there was talk about bringing it back in some new form.
Yeah.
When Rick Filippi was mayor, he put it through the whole city.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like that, so they
Right.
scaled it back.
Yeah.
And they
They tiered it.
Yeah.
Which is good, but one thing that happened when we did that, whenever we do if we have a new LERTA, the escape clauses, because what happened is down on the waterfront itself, next to Sunburst, that place, as soon as they're LERTA,
they're going to leave, right?
they left. They're gone already.
Are they gone?
Yeah, they shipped out.
Sunburst ain't down there?
No, Sunburst is there.
Yeah.
The place next to it. I can't remember what.
Oh,
the
they're
name
gone.
is. Yeah.
Well, you can put restrictions on, but at the end of the day, I mean, look at the county. They got they got surprised with, what was it? What was that industry up there from New York? The famous one up in Summit. They moved in. What was it? They made tables.
Bush?
Yeah, Bush Industries.
Bush Industries,
They
yeah.
made tables or something. Or,
Yeah, and then as soon as that ran out, you think, when it comes to that type of development, you have to have, you get this, and this, sign here, and we got to be ready. And this
But
is what you get. These are the tax breaks. This is what you get. This is what the city can offer you. This is what the state can offer you. This is what the county offers
but they
you.
got a bank of lawyers that'll figure out how to get out of it afterwards. And
Yeah, but we have to stop the.
Well, I agree with
exodus
you.
After, or either that, or you pay back a certain amount.
this is why when people argue with me about, even the newspaper did, when we talk about Erie Insurance or Smith's provisions, I don't have trouble with them because
No.
unless some corporation comes in and buys them,
Right.
that's our big fear now. When you get to be like Erie or Smith's hot dogs, Kohler beer come to mind.
Right.
You get a big company comes in or Hammer Mill when we lost them to
Well, you.
Carl Icahn in that group, International.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what you worry about. But as far as like Smith's pulling up roots or
Yeah.
people like what was the other one I mentioned? Erie Insurance.
They're building up that.
They're probably not going to leave town. So
No, they're not. They're not building that hole. They're not digging that hole over there for nothing. But, that whole group, they're putting together that conglomerate of people to develop downtown. And
yeah, that's a good idea.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic, city and government and county, we need to start working with the private sector.
I don't like to parrot myself, but years ago I said the only way we're going to get out of this hole is quit looking at D.C. and Harrisburg. We have to start investing in ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tom Hagen listens to me, and he probably doesn't, but I think that maybe he and I are in the same thought plane that when you get up in the morning, he quit looking for I was telling this group of people from the Jefferson one day, I said, we always wait for the white horse to come into town. And the knight's up on top there, and he's going to, name the projects. U.S. Steel, Miller Beer, the Saturn plant, goes on and on, right? Quit looking at that. If you go back to history of Erie, I think it was Erie Resistor, which became Erie Tech, started in somebody's garage, and then they merged with a company from like St. Mary's, PA, and a couple other towns.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you got Erie Tech, and the same thing I'm sure with Kohler Beer. It started out small and then grew big and then got grabbed. But like most businesses, they probably started out small and became major players. Like Erie Insurance, you look at the original headquarters.
Yeah.
Could you have envisioned that in the 50s? I couldn't.
Did you know that Erie Insurance was this close to leaving many years ago?
I heard that rumor once.
This close to become. They had an offer on the table, I think Mutual of Omaha or something
Well,
like
that's
that.
my big fear is that someday.
That close to being bought out and moved. Now, you mentioned Tom. I mean, they have serious plans.
Well, I mean, if you're Tom Hagen and a big company like Mutual Omaha comes in.
Yeah. Well, this was before Tom. This was back in the early days.
The Hurt days?
The Hurt days.
Well, you think about them, if somebody's going to hand you a pile of money, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to play games every day. I mean, you start thinking, right?
Yeah.
This is what separated, though, the old pioneers of Erie. You know,
Right.
they hung it out, you know.
Well, there's some serious changes coming
Where?
to downtown Erie. Serious change
I mean, with the investment.
with the investments.
Well, it should. And what should happen is, what I like when I talk to people like Hagan,
Yeah.
you know, when I was talking with him, you get the feeling like, you know, they're very intelligent. They know they have to deal with council and they have to deal with administration. Yet they're major players too.
Well, the thing is,
And I think if we all start, like the old saying is, checking your egos in at the door,
Right.
and get down to working,
right,
and forget whose name gets put up on the plaque.
right,
You know, people don't know this, but you do. There's a certain gentleman should have his name on a lot of plaques.
yeah,
You know, some of those monuments up there on State Street that
yeah,
never asked for it.
right,
You know, that's the kind of people. My wife has one in her hometown. Everybody knew the guy did everything, but he didn't need a plaque telling everybody that.
right,
That's what we need in this town, you know.
right.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a couple comments about the snow plowing.
Yeah.
First thing, I think they did a real good job with the amount of snow we had. They did real good.
Yeah, this is unprecedented. I mean, you got to go back to the 70s when we had consistent snow, but not one dump like this.
One thing I want to ask you. On December 27th, I had an appointment for Bianchi Motors on my car.
Yeah.
But I live by you. I live by Mercier. So I come up 38 to go up to Peach and go out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, now listen. Now, when I got up Peach Street, past Grandview, into Mill Creek, all the way to Bianchi's, it was smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have different type of plows than we have? Or what? I mean, the street was actually, there was no ruts, there was no bumping up and down. It was smooth all the way up to Bianchi's.
I can't swear by it, but in Mill Creek Township, the state does the state highways.
Okay, maybe the state does that up there.
Yeah, they do.
That's what maybe they have different plows then.
Well, I think maybe their approach is different. Like, you know, maybe they run their plows a little tighter to the ground.
So smooth. Then I come back from Bianchi's, I come back right past Grandview, going down Peach.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a roller coaster again, all the way home.
Well, I think the main roads were done very well, but the side streets,
Well, he's saying even 38th Street was like, if you went to, and you said you went up Pine Avenue, right?
No, I come down. I went up 38th Street.
Oh, to Peach, right?
Yeah, I went to 38th Street to Peach.
Yeah, now when you get to Peach, see, we get paid to plow by the Commonwealth within the city on their highways.
Yeah.
But out in Mill Creek, what they'll do, they can still plow the state highways, but the state will go in there first. Now they claim that if the state had the city, they'd put us on a low priority.
you couldn't do that like on Route 20.
But still, his point is that you see the difference in the philosophy.
Yeah, you do.
I figured they must have different type of plows, whoever did it, because it was smooth. I couldn't believe how smooth it was all the way past the mall, all the way to Bianchi's.
Yeah, they had to bring they've been bringing graders in. They got my street the other day.
Now, they did mine with a grader, too, and they, like everybody else, they buried my driveway with those big knobblers.
Didn't they clean it out?
No. I got half my driveway opened up just to get a car out, but they're still there, a lot of them. They're huge.
The chunks are the ice is so big.
Well, they were cleaning out, I don't want to, they were cleaning out some of the driveways with a bucket.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, they were attempting to do that.
I know they have to do it. That's not my complaint. I think they did a good job.
But I'm surprised they were at certain, for a while they were cleaning out people's driveways after the grader went through.
They didn't do it on our street.
Where do you live?
800 block East 42nd between Lake Pleasant and Wayne.
Yeah. Because when they did, and it wasn't just mine, they did mine, they did, a couple other people would tell me they cleaned out their driveways for them.
I'll tell you what, 80% of the people who live in these houses between Wayne and Lake Pleasant, they're all in their 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
The original people, a lot of them here, you know.
Well, what happens is a lot of people, when they have the odd and even parking, all it takes is one car to be illegally parked,
we had.
You can't plow the whole street.
I was amazed. 2 weeks after the storm, and there's still people on the emergency routes.
We have no cars on our street. We're all in the driveways. They got a clear shot.
Yeah, but I was surprised, like up on 29th Street and 26, the snow emergency routes, I was going to my mother's house, and 2 weeks after the storm, they're still like burrowed in there.
Okay, here's the final thing I want to tell you, and it's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
The city school district had to close the schools one more day because they didn't want the kids to walk in the street.
Yeah, I don't think that was the real reason.
Well, listen, you see these kids in May and June, September, October, they still walk in the street. They don't walk on the sidewalks.
He is right.
That was remember Jim Thompson?
Yeah.
He used to, Jim Thompson hated that.
Well, even in the golden, I'll say this now. In defense of, my mother, who's 92, will shovel her walk every day. I get mad at her, She won't even wait for me to come in or my brother-in-law sometimes. And yet, the young kids who own property, the snow is like 3 feet high. Yeah. So the kids have no choice sometimes to do that. Yeah. But I'm amazed, here's a good one. Try walking down Parade Street on the east side of the street. If you're a student, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Because all the businesses they plowed out their lots on the sidewalk. See, I remember when Mark brought this up, Alexandrovich, years ago. We're going to have to address the issue, I think.
I remember when I did the city shoveling program for seniors a long time. Remember
you saw it, right?
Listen, there are certain sidewalks that are just adjacent to the street, and once that snow goes on and freezes, there is no shoveling.
Right, that's correct.
You can't shovel it.
Here's a good one. Go past 12th and East Avenue, and there's a set of businesses on the north side and houses.
Where?
12th and East Avenue.
Okay.
You're heading east now.
Okay.
Okay, and on the north side of the street, you see how close those houses are?
Yeah.
And the people complain there, as do they on 12th Street when we plow in businesses, because they're right up to the sidewalk.
That's a perfect example. The one I was thinking of was Burton. When you come down like Burton Street to the right there, and when you come in north, there's no possible way that you could keep it.
No, they're gone.
It's so deep, and then once it freezes,
you're done.
That's it. Yeah. He's right, though. But the streets guys, they've done a pretty good job. The side roads are a disaster.
I'll tell you this. If I had been young and good shape like I was when I was 16 and 15, my buddy and I would have been millionaires because we used to shovel walks every day.
I put it out there. Any kids in my neighborhood want to earn some money, and I ended up flagging kids down on my own. They don't do that anymore.
We used to we laughing. If the two of us got $10 a day.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money back then, though.
So, I did. I grabbed it cost me $20 to get, but it was a lot of shoveling that needed to be, I was happy to pay it. But, I had to hire these kids to help me out. I was out there doing
they don't do it anymore.
Hey, Kaz, I'll leave you with this.
Yes.
I think in May, coming up in May, I think the school district should shut the schools down because the kids have to walk in the street.
I'm looking forward to bringing that up, and then maybe we'll get the superintendent on here or the liaison. We'll tell him.
Here's what we do. Here's the solution. We plow the sidewalks and leave the streets snowy.
Right. Yeah.
That's right there. Jim Thompson would be absolutely. I like that.
It's a good idea.
Guys, I'm going.
Okay. Have a good day.
He's right. Everybody walks in the street anyway. But the thing is,
it's like all these. Well, I won't tell you this on the air, but. With all the money we spend on curb cuts, and then you see the people out in the...
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
It's been 3 weeks now since this snowstorm. I think it's time that the code enforcement go get these businesses and cite them.
You mean the ones that got their sidewalks?
Yes.
Well, I took a ride down Parade Street, and it was bad before the storm hit, and now you've got cars that they actually had the guts to burrow out a parking place on the sidewalk. And then left the rest of it packed with snow, And
on some
all over the businesses in town.
They used to. Go ahead.
They're digging out. It's a lot of them. I see them out there trying to keep it. But John, we got crushed.
Do you know what I got paid to do one time?
Oh, God.
I'm not going to tell you who my boss was.
I don't want to know.
Wait, I'm not going to tell you who my boss was.
Because he's watching driveways for $2.
No, well, yeah, that. Well, I always joke with. The late Doc Leone, Doc over there at Hunter's Inn.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead now, but I remember my buddy and I went up there one time and we made him an offer and he cut it in half. And he wanted the ice chip too, and I go, oh my God, it's a.
Well, you got a toughie with you.
He was a good, but John, I can remember when I was working for a certain authority in town. I don't want to mention a name, but we had to go out there with pick and shovel because of some businessmen that didn't like the way the parking lots were plowed. And where are you going to put the snow? You can only put it in the corners, right?
Yep.
So we would lose, let's say, 2 to 4 parking spots, maybe at the end.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's a casualty of winter. What are you going to do?
Half the parking spots are, when they do come and plow, they'll swing in a little bit. But if there's one car, then
I'm talking about a city one.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, you're right. And we used to plow them like late at night. Well, there we were hammering away at snow mountains, and the businesses they used to hire. They had their own employees out there shoveling the sidewalks.
True.
Okay, you got hit with a big one, all right? But, if you look around town, some of the businesses cleaned out,
Yeah. That's true. It's just like your street superintendent said he's been with the city for 34 years.
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember anybody dumping snow in the bay.
Are you kidding me? That wasn't too awful goddamn long ago.
Yeah, that wasn't.
I said, boy, this guy's lost because the West Side Dobbins Landing down there, they used to dump it there all the time.
Well, if I remember right, I think the last mayor that really had a problem like that, I think it was Joyce in the 70s. Remember, John?
Yeah, and that's when they caught the city plows up there doing their driveway.
Yeah, because what they were doing too was they were cleaning out school parking lots and then ordering the public to use them, that and like Liberty Plaza, their parking lot.
Yeah.
And everybody cooperated so that the city could bring in graders like they did the other day here.
Yeah, they did a grader on my house. They did a good job.
Did they clean your driveway out?
No, I have a guy that plows. He cleaned it out.
Oh, okay, because they were cleaning out some of them.
They cleaned the gentleman down the street. He's about 90, and they cleaned his out.
Yeah, they did. Everybody on my block and a couple blocks over, I was watching them. Maybe they had more equipment,
Yeah, they had a little backhoe that went in and shoveled it out. But
yeah.
So other than that,
But they were doing mine at 3 a.m. too. That might have been a problem. By the time you woke up in the morning, you'd have been.
Well, what they're doing on a lot of streets, they graded half of them down to the sidewalk or to the cement.
Right.
And then there's a 4-inch lip where they didn't grade there. So you have an uneven street. So all the cars are trying to drive on this side. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And then you have to jump over the lip.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes it better or worse. But like I said, what we had was historically unprecedented. So,
we handled this one better than 50. John and I were around at 56.
56, the big Thanksgiving snowstorm.
And we had less snow, although, what was it, John? 20-some in 20 hours, was it?
No, I think it was 48 inches.
Was it that much?
Yeah, they had the tanks out, and the Erie Coach Company did the plowing.
Of course, we didn't have front-wheel drive cars.
No.
And the plows weren't as good.
You guys had horse and buggies back then.
No, they were joking with a PennDOT driver, and he said
Coach
that.
Company did a lot of plowing, too.
Who did?
Erie Coach.
Yeah, because that was part of the. In fact, I remember reading some of the minutes. They were going to give him some money one day, and somebody went nuts one day. Because they were going to give him a little contribution.
Yeah.
Because they used to plow their bus routes.
Yep. It sounds
as a
like
courtesy.
Have a great day, guys.
You too, John.
Yeah, the way.
I'm going to get some of my coffee here real quick.
What are you getting?
I got my coffee done.
Oh, you're getting parched?
Parched.
You getting parched? I think that overall they did pretty good on the main streets right after that. I thought they did good, yeah. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Okay. Guys there?
Yeah.
Hey, here's a couple of ideas for you. First of all, the snow, when they get this much snow, and they're talking about they don't know where to put all the snow from the corners, they say it's piled high, they try to figure out. Can't they haul that away and maybe dump it in where some of these parks are? Remember the summertime parks? Put them in that area?
They can, but I'm not sure. You know what? I'm not going to swear I know the rules, but like storing, I'll give you an example of somebody that's doing something like that. If you go to 19th and Parade, across from Nickel Plate, the other side of the street, I found out the snow there was being trucked in from Upper Peach Street from one business, and also from the state police barracks in Lawrence Park. And the private contractors were dumping it there. I'm not sure what the rules say. I think if you go down to where Nick Scott owns the land down by the Maritime School, you know where that is?
I know.
Well, if you go down to where the rotunda is for the Intermodal Transportation Center.
Out where the
grain elevators area in the back there.
Yeah, and there's a big empty field that belongs to Nick Scott. It borders on the east side of the slip there. It's to the left of the road as you're heading towards the boat terminal, which is now the Port Authority. You'll see that Nick, I guess, allowed them to dump there, probably paying them. But there's rules, and I was listening to a guy the other day. They probably could dump it.
Well, you got the one on Buffalo Road, where the swimming pool is at down here.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know why they don't do it, or
It would make logical sense to at least a certain amount of snow.
Well, we used to dump in the bay, but that's out now.
The other thing I was going to say, Cash, that with what they've done on 38th Street, East 38th,
yeah,
made that bike path.
Well, it's not a bike path. I'll explain it to you, but go ahead.
Oh, anyway, okay. Well, I thought that was supposed to be for like bicycles so many feet away from the curb, but to still have a lane for the driving to go down.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Okay. Why can't they do something like that on all streets, make a path that way, and in the wintertime, when they plow, make that the sidewalk, so that since the sidewalks get plowed at the same time the streets do.
Well, you sort of got that on 12th Street right now. If you go on 12th Street, they got, if you remember, they cut the lanes down from 3 to 2. And even though they didn't put sidewalks in, they got, diagonal lines there.
Correct.
So you're not technically supposed to drive there, and they do use it to pack snow, I think. 38th Street now, that was, how that road is, that's not a bike lane per se, but under state law, you have to give the bikes adequate clearage when you go around them.
Bicycle communities, green
communities. You're not using a bicycle.
But if it was a bike lane, they'd actually put a solid line
there. Every time I see that those signs on the ground, I always picture an outline, of a chalk outline of somebody laying there getting ran over on their bike.
What's going to happen is they tell you you're supposed to, give them some space. But typical Erie people, they're not going to signal when they cut in front of you.
Yeah, every time I see that, I go, oh, my God.
You ever been on a highway when you're supposed to move over?
Yeah.
They don't even assume anybody's in that lane.
I wouldn't ride my bike on 38th Street. I don't care.
I probably
if I'm not on that sidewalk, you can't trust it.
Would.
It's too crazy up there. It's just people.
I don't trust bike lanes, period. Really.
That's like a disaster waiting to happen. But I understand you want a bikeable community. That's part of
But a lot of places
sustainability.
Like when you go to Chicago and they do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make that bike lane and make it a sidewalk for the wintertime. In the summer they can ride their bikes. They got the regular sidewalk to walk on.
That's something to think of, but
regular sidewalks covered with all that ice and snow like mine. I can't get through. I've had two guys try with snow blowers. All their snow blowers do is bounce off that. That's all packed solid with ice.
Yeah, once it gets set, the snow blower's not going to do it either.
They can't. They told me that even a guy with a bucket couldn't maybe get in there. They have a hard time. They'd almost have to use a jackhammer to break it apart in order to get it open.
With a storm like this, you almost had to be onto it continuously.
We tried.
Like my neighbor,
the plows go up and down Old French Road here. I think they went up and down when it started snowing about 12 times in the daytime. So you couldn't. As soon as you do it once, they plowed it shut again.
See, I'm lucky if they plow my street by 3 a.m. or.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but.
So what I'll do is my neighbor has been very nice, and he's cleaned out some of the neighbors' driveways, but he's had to stay on it all winter. Like,
caller, do you live on
Old French?
Old French. And see, he and I live on a busy street like he does. It is a nightmare.
Because they keep plowing them.
They keep plowing you, and then when they came through with the grader and they threw the ice chunk, Kaz, I couldn't even. They were so. It was a struggle.
I think the driveways they were cleaning was like the side streets more. Like with you, they probably had a problem because of Main Street.
So far, this snowfall, Kaz, just this snowfall. and they can't plow my driveway because there's no place to push it. So
right.
The snow blow the driveway, but the front there I can't even hit with the snow blower across where they plowed it off the street. So
yeah, my neighbor commented to me
the truck that plows, he opens that part up for me, but it's $20 a shot every time he does it.
Yeah, my neighbor to me, we help each other out, and I give him my gas and all that,
Pennies from heaven. That's what snowplowers call it.
And he,
we work that way too, but everything costs money, and that's why I say the city. I don't know why. I still remember the day when I first came to Erie. I was on one street, and they were plowing the snow from the curb to the center of the street and going down the bucket, loading it up in the back of the truck.
Oh, they did. And they used to take it to a lot of different, I'll ask them, but here's another problem we may have. And people aren't going to buy this, but we do not have a lot of workers anymore.
No, that's true.
I mean, when these guys were working 12-hour shifts, they were trying to scrape the barrel to find some replacements. Because you can't work guys 24/7. You can't. I mean, you and I did that for the authority. Remember?
I know.
You start seeing after a while your depth perception's gone. All you see is a sea of white in front of you. You don't even know what you could be plowing. You'll be going into a what do you call it? You could be hitting a pillar and you wouldn't know it.
One of the things I did notice about this plow season, in front of my house, usually they'll swing in to try to clear parking spots.
Yeah.
This year, I don't know if it's new. I don't know what.
Might be new guys.
If it's new guys, they got to practice a little bit because there was a lot of space.
Well, you know what? Every time
between the curb and what happens is, Kaz, once that snow starts building up there, then you have to. And I'll show you when we leave here.
Well, it's like my mailbox.
You have to start parking closer to the street.
See my mailbox?
And now my mirror. Let's put it this way, I need a new mirror. It ripped right off.
I saw a couple like that, like my streets, even though they came through with the grader. It's still a lot narrower than it usually is.
Cash.
And you can't get up to the mailbox.
Hey, Cash.
Yeah.
Give me a call when you get off the air, because I got an idea from the airport ideas, okay? Give me a call so I can throw it at you. Maybe you can take it someplace, I don't know. But I think it might work also, particularly for the side streets of Erie. All right?
Yep.
Give me a call. Appreciate it.
Oh, I wanted to thank the airport guys. I was out there. Some of my family came through there. Some couple went to Pittsburgh, but my daughter, she used Erie. And a lot of times they get the blame for what's going on in other towns. Flights not being connected. If we have a problem, it's because we don't have, what do you call it? We don't have a lot of seats available.
Isn't Philadelphia like the biggest airport disaster?
In where?
In the country.
No, Atlanta, I think.
No.
Or O'Hare. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz.
Yeah.
Quick. In a Tulio heyday, there was 100 streets department employees.
Right.
I think they're down to 40 now.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say, that gentleman, was, where we might have had guys that could drive trucks as backup, to get loaded up with snow, we really don't have a lot of extra drivers anymore. Would you agree on that? Oh, he's off the air, but.
What they do, my uncle worked for streets 30 years.
Yeah.
What they do are the main drags, outlining areas, inner city.
Right.
That's the way they do it.
But I mean, what we had the advantage in the old days was when the gentleman said we had 100. When you called people in on overtime.
Well, they're working 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
They either work 7 to 7 or 7 to 7 at night.
Yeah. Now we're with the 40 guys. It's pretty rough.
That's crazy.
I mean, you probably have no second shift, so they're calling in guys from other departments, let's say, that aren't experienced in that.
Didn't we have to rent equipment from Buffalo? Where did I see that?
A lot of those, I think those graders.
Graders.
Yeah, we have contracts. We always have what they call contracts for use of things if we have to.
Yeah.
We make deals with them.
Yeah.
Like you'll have. I noticed the state had. Who was it? Gerlachs. Gerlachs was salting some of the state highways. Do you believe that?
Really?
Yeah.
On the computer.
Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Caller on the air. I want to complain about my water bill.
Well, you got to call the water authority, but go ahead.
This is DJ Cass.
Hey, DJ, well, you don't even got water out there. All you got to worry about is the stream.
You got fresh
You
water.
got that mountain spring water for Coors beer up there, don't you?
And it's free. You don't pay for anything out here. It's amazing.
What do you mean free? There's nothing free in life.
Yeah, there's nothing free in life. I just wanted to say hi, guys.
Hey, we miss you, DJ.
Yeah, I miss you guys, too. You obviously missed me because it took you half an hour to find the phone this morning.
Well, no, actually what happened, it's being reprogrammed, I was told.
Oh, okay.
And they had it locked up, so...
That's what we're going with now.
Somebody forgot to tell me. So, so John and I, along with Mike here, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, actually, DJ's the one that said, do this, and boom.
But, hey, DJ, how do you like it out there?
Well, I just called to let you know you got 5 minutes left. I'm giving you the high sign. You got 5...
Are you coming back? So you'll be back someday, right?
I'll be back near the end of February. I'm going to do some volunteering for CAD. And,
will you call me? I missed you when you left because my wife got sick. And my mother I had to take her a couple, with the storm, I was taking her to stuff. We took her car away from her so she wouldn't have to move odd even all the time.
Yeah.
So,
I'll be back. I'll be back near the end of February, I think, maybe the beginning of March there.
I don't think John's ever going to do some of the stuff you did, but...
I don't know what he did.
Well, I'll tell you off the air.
Conversations you have with John better because at least John has a better understanding of the system and the politics and the way things work, whereas I'm usually just sitting there bobbing my head. So.
Yeah, but you know what? You always...
on there.
It's amazing. If you sit there alone, you run out of things to say.
The cat, he likes somebody to bounce ideas off of and keeps the show, but he's boring by himself, right?
Yeah, there you go. People ask me a lot. They say, where's DJ? And I said, he's okay,
Hey, I got one question, though.
Yeah.
Why does everything get better when I leave? You guys get a new mayor. You guys are going to get awesome parking meters. You got all these projects that are supposed to be taking place.
DJ, we've been working on those meters for 4 years.
Everything's just finally coming to roost.
The meters here, and they got a credit card slot in.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We started talking 4 years ago, and I'll give this to Ray Massing. I was the liaison then. And then when I became president and we pushed it forward a little bit to get it moving, the big hang up was how to pay for it. Okay?
Right.
And so, the authority has been very good to us over the years. They've funded a lot of projects which the public doesn't know about.
Yeah, well, see, now we got new attitude, new approaches,
and I think
teamwork.
And you know what?
It's 3 really good concepts.
It's going to be
that
nice.
might actually do some good.
It's going to be nice if you're in a ballpark or you're at the theater. And you've been there, all of a sudden, they do an encore and you don't want to leave, right?
Right.
And you know your meter's ticking away.
Yep.
Or you're like, it probably doesn't happen at night because the meters are usually done by then. But, like if a mother takes a kid to the Disney on Ice show and, it's going a little longer than normal and it's going to be so nice to be able to get on your phone, put another quarter in the meter.
Are you guys raised the price for the parking tickets? Is that how you?
Yeah, that's how they're going to pay for it. We're gonna get a little bit of it, and so's the authority.
I always donate to the parking ticket fund.
It's going to. You know what? Actually, it's going to be. You still there, right, DJ?
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. I just wanted to say hi, and I miss you guys, and I'll be back at some point.
Hey, did you get my text about that caller? You got that squared away?
I did. That was Doc. I was supposed to call him. He calls me on the night of the first night of our Erie blizzard. And he's like, I just heard somebody driving a truck to Colorado flipped over in a ditch. I was like, oh, crap. And I forgot to call him back, but I'll take care of it.
I saw the picture of that parking lot with the mountains in the back.
Yeah.
So next time you come in Erie, let's see. John wants I
want a case of Coors.
Case of Coors. He wants some of those mountain oysters.
Mountain oysters. What is
Okay.
And what's the name of your borough? You got a name for your borough? I picture you as being in the mountains with a.
I'm in El Paso County, if that tells you anything.
A Texas county in Colorado?
Yeah, it's weird.
What's the biggest city you're closest to?
The one I'm closest to, I'm in Colorado Springs, and we have just under 500,000 people.
Oh, okay, Colorado Springs.
In the city or in the metro area?
In wherever I am, I'm like in the city area, and that's the population is like 450-something thousand people here, so a little bigger than Erie.
So what's a big specialty in the restaurants? Steak or what?
Every taco place you can imagine is here. They have Del Taco, Bueno Taco, Taco Bell,
Yeah, what's, well, you haven't been there long enough. You got to find out what's Coloradan, though. Is that what you call yourselves, Coloradans?
How much weed did you buy out there? Isn't that like on for sale out there?
No, I don't like that stuff.
No weed out there?
I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay, thanks.
Over.
Thanks for calling. See you later, DJ.
Hey, DJ.
Take care. I'm going to stalk you guys every Monday.
What's that guy say in the commercials?
What?
Be good, my friend.
Be good. Stay thirsty.
Stay thirsty.
Stay thirsty, my friends. Yeah.
You know, it's good to hear from him.
They're out there. They got the marijuana thing going on out there.
Well, we got the retail place in the city now.
I was just going to say, we got our own little weed place going on here.
You know, you're going to find out. A lot of people argued me on that vote. You know, we did. But I look at it this way. You're not stopping it.
No.
It goes back to
Listen.
It goes back to they got their heads in a cloud years ago, right? Yeah. And your father-in-law and I,
Joe, yeah,
we served with guys in the Army. Why should their careers be emptied?
Yeah,
because they had one weed. You know.
Here's what's going to happen. Same thing with gambling. Nobody wanted gambling, then all of a sudden gambling popped up here. Popped up. Gambling is worse.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize the problems that gambling brings to a family and to a community. Trust me, it's bad. But Ohio, eventually we got it.
Yeah.
And then we were killing it until Ohio got it. Now all of a sudden, we're not killing it anymore.
And in the Indian nation east of us, they do better than we do.
Yeah. So it's a matter of time. I mean, who knows?
It'll be legal.
This whole Trump situation. I mean, that's a whole other story.
But it'll be legal.
It's a matter of time. And then but we got to, can we be the first one to do something? I'm not even saying that in particular, before everybody else jumps on it.
Do you know that, I used to say this when I was younger, our unique problem, which is, we always hear it's a problem because we're between three major cities. That could have been our greatest asset.
Absolutely.
Think of the Commonwealth that put gambling into Pennsylvania way back.
Yep.
We could have been to Branson, Missouri.
Absolutely.
What was Branson, Missouri?
We're always the last.
What were they? They were nothing.
Nothing. We are always the last to do something. Pennsylvania, but we did have gambling before Ohio. I remember Ohio saying we're never going to do it. And then we did it and they're like, holy shit, we better do it too. So they did do it. Now we're losing out on revenue. But I think we are way past time. I want to thank you for having me and DJ for calling. And
are you going to come on next week maybe?
I have to see my schedule, but it's possible. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we got to try to sign you up here.
You could have DJ proxy on
we could do that.
On a conference call. Well, we could. I don't think you can. Well, I don't know.
I'll call you during the week, though, okay?
Yeah, all right. We'll be in touch.
So,
thanks for watching, everybody.
As we used to say, adios.
Take care. See you next week. Hit the music.
Stay thirsty, me friend.
Stay thirsty, me friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.